Yasvanubhavam akilashrutisaaramekam adhyatmadipam atititirshyatam tamondam samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam tam vyasasonum upayami gurum muninam menire bhagavadrupam shastram bhagavatam kalau pathanat shravanat sagyah vaikunta paladhayakam Narayana paraveda deva narayanangajaha Narayana paraloka Narayana paramakaha Narayana parayoga Narayana param tapaha Narayana paramjnanam Narayana paragatihi. Over the last 4 weeks, we have been relishing the most potent Narayana Kavacham. In the 6th skandha, 8th adhyaya, we see Vishwarupa, son of Tvashta. Vishwarupa's instructions to Indra, who had lost his prosperity, his strength, his vigor. And in that process, his kingdom, Vishwarupa instructs Narayana Kavacham. Over the last few weeks, we have seen how Vishwarupa, in the process of instructing Narayana Kavacha, also teaches Indra the ways and means to seek protection. The Jitante Stotra loudly declares, Samsara sagaram ghoram ananta klesha bhajanam Tvameva sharanam prapya nistaranti manishinam. The Samsara Sagara, the ocean of Samsara, is the place of perennial adversities, perennial afflictions, pains, problems. It's a source of all kinds of miseries. Even if we wish away, we cannot escape the clutches of adversities in samsara. And if we need to cross over this ocean of samsara, we need a boat. And Bhagavan himself happens to be that boat. Tvameva sharanam prapya nistaranti manishinaha. He alone, when we surrender to him, he alone can help us cross over this ocean of samsara. Now, while that is good news, what do we do even while we are in the process of sailing through the ocean? We need protection. And therefore, we need Bhagavan to be our shield, not just our boat, to also to be our protective shield and protect us, help us as we cross over this samsara, as we go through this life. He also stays as a protective shield, helping us face the adversities, endure the pain, endure the miseries, and eventually attain him. And it is in this context that Vishwarupa teaches Indra how to invoke Bhagavan, his avataras, and pray, seeking protection from him. In the first part of Narayana Kavacha, we see various avataras glorified and protection sought. Then Vishwarupa teaches how we constantly keep contemplating on Bhagavan, and this contemplation by itself becomes a protective shield for us through the day and through the night. And now, in the last part, the concluding part of Narayana Kavacha, the Vishwarupa helps us to stay connected with Bhagavan by relishing not only his glorious form, but also relish his Divyaayudhas, relish his divyabhushanas, and also relish the nitya suris who are around him all the time. And this is where Vishwarupa, in the last segment of Narayana Kavacha, begins to seek protection first from Garuda and then from Vishwaksena. Garudo Bhagavan Stotra Stobas Chandomaya Prabhu Rakshatu Asesha Krichebhyaha Vishwaksena Snasnabihi. Here, Vishwaksena and Garuda are being invoked. We need to understand also why they are being invoked here. When we know the glories of Garuda and Vishwaksena, then we also can understand why Vishwarupa invokes Garuda and Vishwaksena in Narayana Kavacham. Here he says, Rakshatu Asesha Krichrebhyaha. Asesha Krichrebhyaha. Unlimited miseries. We need protection from unlimited miseries of all kinds. Garuda is first being sought protection from. Garuda is very, very special. The Vedas, if there is one bird which is given supreme status, a lofty status in the Vedas, it is Garuda. The famous Swasti mantra seeks protection from all devas, including Garuda. Bhadram karane vishnu yamadeva Bhadram pakshe makshabhir yajatraha Sthirairangais tuštuvagum sastanubihi Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu Swastina indro vrdhashravaha Swastina pusha vishvavedaha Swastino taksho arishtanemihi Swastino brihaspatirdadatu dadatu Swastina tarksha arishtanemihi. Tarksha refers to Garuda. The Veda mantra, while seeking protection, it says, Swastina tarksho arishtanemihi. May Tarksha Garuda, who is the circle of protection, it says. Garuda by himself is a circle of protection. He forms a protective shield. May that Garuda bestow well-being on us. The Veda mantras help us seek protection by praying to Garuda. How do we visualize Garuda? Now, Garuda is celebrated in the Yajurveda Taittiriya Samhita as follows. Suparnosi Garutman. He has a golden hue. Suparnosi Garutman. Golden in hue. Suparnosi Garutman. Trivritte Shiraha. Gayatram Chakshuhu. Stoma Atma. Samate Tanuhu, Vamadevyam Brihatratantare Pakshav. Visualizing Garuda, the Veda mantra say, all the chandas, the meters of the Vedas are the various parts of Garuda Bhagavan. We have seen earlier how the Vedas can be visualized as a Purusha, Veda Purusha. If the Vedas are visualized as a Veda Purusha, the chandas, the meters, are the feet. They provide the rhythm, movement to the Veda mantras. These various chandas are various parts of Garuda. Trivritte Shiraha. Trivrit is his head. Gayatram Chakshuhu. The Gayatri chandas are his eyes. Stoma Atma. Garuda's Atma is compared to Stoma. Stoma in Samaveda means praise, hymns of praises. Atma is that which supports and sustains. Garuda is supported and sustained by the praises of Bhagavan. He is constantly praises Bhagavan, and therefore the Vedas say Stoma Atma, his very Atma are the hymns of praises of Samaveda. Samate Tanuhu. His entire body, he is an embodiment of Samaveda. And then they go on to beautifully explain Vamadevyam Brihat Ratantare Pakshav. The wings of Garuda, it seems, are the various parts of Samaveda. Samaveda has three parts. Vamadevya, Brihat, Ratantara. Brihat Sama, Ratantara Sama, Vamadevya Sama. It seems when Garuda flaps his wings, the flapping of Garuda's wings produces chants of Samaveda. Now, Bhagavan always loves to keep listening to Samaveda. In Vaikuntha, one keeps constantly listening to the chants of Samaveda. Even when he is traveling outside of Vaikuntha on Garuda, the flapping of Garuda's wings constantly produces the blissful chants of Samaveda. Vamadevyam Brihat Ratantares Pakshav. This Samaveda, the embodiment of the Samaveda, Garuda, may he protect us. Garudo, Bhagavan, Stotra, Sthobas, Chandomaya, Prabhu, Rakshatu. Just the Vedas protect us. Vedas are like our mother, thousands of mothers put together. So compassionate they are. They help us lead life successfully with all security. And that is the reason why Garuda here is being prayed. Hey Garuda, may you be the shield, the circle of my protection. Garudo Bhagavan, Stotra Stobhya Chandomaya Prabhu Rakshatu. Rakshatu Asesha Krichrebhyaha Vishwaksena Svanabhibihi. Vishwaksena, may Vishwaksena protect me from unlimited miseries. Vishwaksena is a nitya surya, nityatma. No, he may not be very familiar to many of us, but then we constantly recite a shloka almost on a daily basis without realizing that we are praying to Vishwaksena. Yasyad viradavaktrathyaha parishadhya parasatam vignam nignamti satatam Vishwaksenam tamashraye. All of us almost on a daily basis recite Vishnu Sahasranama. Right at the beginning of Vishnu Sahasranama, we chant this shloka. Yasyad virada bhadradhyaha parishadhya parasatam vignam nignanti shatatam. Vignam nignanti shatatam. We pray for all the obstacles that come in our way to be completely annihilated. And this is a glorious prayer to Vishwaksena. Vignam nignanti shatatam Vishwaksenam tamashraye. Who is this Vishwaksena? Vishwaksena is the commander-in-chief, Bhagavan. He is the one who runs, who governs on behalf of Bhagavan. He is the one who takes care of the administration of all the Brahmandas, not just one Brahmanda, the multitude of Brahmandas. The delegation, Bhagavan delegates a task of day-to-day governance to Commander-in-Chief, Vishwaksena. The army, Bhagavan's army is in all directions, and the commander who commands all these armies which are in every direction is the Commander-in-Chief, Vishwaksena. That Vishwaksena Rakshatu Krichrebhyaha. In the recent times, the term Sengol became very popular. Sengol, scepter, staff. The kings hold the staff, a cane, which is a symbol of authority, symbol of justice, symbol of right governance. It seems Bhagavan has given his scepter, his Sengol, his staff to command and administer to Vishwaksena. Vishwaksena holds the staff, and just like an orchestrator, the conductor of an orchestra holds a cane and he orchestrates the entire orchestra. Similarly, Vishwaksena, holding a staff, a cane, he administers the entire orchestra of governance of this universe. All of us are very familiar with the popular Suprabhata. In that, there is a beautiful verse which talks about how Vishwaksena actually administers the crowd that is thronging right in the front of the gates of Bhagavan, Venkatesha. Shri Swami Pushkarani Plava Nirmalanga Shreyartinaha Harivirincha Sanandanadhyaha Dware Vasanti Varavetra Hatottamanga Shri Venkata Chalapate Tava Shuprabhatam. It seems all the devatas are thronging. They come down every day, taking bath, holy dip in Swami Pushkarini, getting purified. They are all waiting eagerly for darshana right in front of the gate. And it seems Vishwaksena is gently with his cane, he is administering the crowd of all the devatas. Dware Vasanti Varavetra Hatottamanga. It seems gently with a cane, he is administering the crowd of all the devatas. Such is the glory of Vishwaksena. Now, when we visit Tirumala, sometimes we fail to visit Vishwaksena, the temple dedicated for him. In the northern corner of the temple complex in Tirumala, there is a Sannidhi which is dedicated to Vishwaksena. And he is the one who administers all the affairs of the temple there and the entire universe too. Here, Vishwarupa is praying to that Vishwaksena, Rakshatu Asesha Krichrebhyaha. Unlimited miseries, he is the only one who can protect. With the army that is at his disposal, he can come to our rescue whenever we need. That Vishwaksena, may he protect me. And then in the next shloka, Vishwarupa now talks about complete protection for the entire stack of this body, the physical body, the senses, the mind and the intellect. Sarvapadyo harer nama rupa yanayudharinaha buddhi indriya manapranan pantu parshanda bhushanaha. Sarva apadbhyaha, all kinds of dangers. How do we get protected from the dangers that are lurking everywhere around in all directions? Every step that we take, every day, there is some danger or the other which is awaiting us. How do we get protected? How do we stay protected? These dangers are all these distractions all around are all dangerous. Why? Because they capture our mind forcefully. Our mind gets easily captured by all the distractions and temptations around. And when the mind gets captured, then the distractions start to consume us slowly. The mind gets consumed over a period of time. And when the mind gets completely consumed, it also starts getting corrupted. No, this is a process of capture, consumption and corruption. This is the danger that we are all facing every day. The danger of this world around us, the world of temptations, which keeps us completely distracted away from our path. And these distractions are so very dangerous here. And here, Vishwarupa is helping us seek protection against these distractions. These distractions are so very dangerous. They come in all forms of all kinds. All of us have our own dangerous distractions. We need to contemplate, reflect and see what is the most dangerous distraction for each and every one of us. Every one of us may have our own unique distractions. Some of them are very, very dangerous. Depending on our own vasanas, there are certain temptations which easily capture our mind. And these temptations easily consume us, take all the time away, keep us distracted all the time, and in that process, they corrupt us, corrupt our mind abominably. And if as long as we are under the influence of these distractions, we can never recover and get our direction right in our life and living. Therefore, here Vishwarupa is helping Indra pray to seek protection. Sarvapadhyo harer nama rupa yana ayudhaninaha. This is where Bhagavan bestows nama, his divine names, the holy names, his rupa, his wonderful forms, yana, the vehicles like Garuda, ayudhani, his divine weapons. All of these are only for one purpose. The purpose of helping us come away from the influence of this distraction. Our mind needs to be attracted. If the mind is not given the right direction, it will always be attracted and go after material things and will stay distracted forever. And this is why Bhagavan, out of compassion, assumes several forms, beautiful forms, which attracts our mind. He assumes several names. Every name of Bhagavan allures us, attracts us. His vehicles, his divine weapons, and Pantu Parshada Bhushanaha. Parshada Bhushanaha, the decorations of Bhagavan. Whenever we visit temples, we are in awe. The divyabhushanas, not only the Divyaayudhas, the divyabhushanas also arrest our minds. Thus our mind stays connected with him. Explaining the various divyabhushanas of Bhagavan in his Sharanagati Gadya, Swami Ramanuja beautifully lists out all the divine ornaments of Bhagavan. sochita vivida vichitranantascharya nitya niravadya niratashaya sukanda niratashaya sukasparisha Kirita Makuta Chudavatamsa Makarakundala Greve Kahara Keyura Kataka Shivatsa Mukta Damo Mukta Dhamo Udarabhandana Kanchi Guna Nupuradi Aparimita divyabhushana, he says. The moment we start experiencing Bhagavan's divine form, each of those divine ornaments are a source of attraction for us. They help arrest our mind. They help get the direction to the mind towards Bhagavan, and therefore that is why Bhagavan not only assumes divine forms, he also presents with all these divine ornaments. These ornaments are not to make him beautiful. He is more beautiful without those divyabhushanas. But it is for our sake. Nate rupam nachakaro na ayudhani nachaspadam tathapi purushakaro bhaktanam stvam prakashase. As the Vedas say, it is for our sake. All his divyabhushanas are for our sake. His Divyaayudhas are our sake. All his divine forms are our sake. That is the only way our senses, our mind, our intellect can all be brought under control, given the right direction, so that we are protected from the dangerous distractions which are all around us. Yatahi Bhagavan yeva vastuta sadachat yat satyenena nat sarve yantunasham upradravaha. Now Vishwarupa is talking about the reality. He says, if I know reality, what is reality? There is a manifested reality and there is an unmanifested reality. Manifested reality are the names and forms, everything that we see. Unmanifested reality is the cause. Everything is at the time of before creation is in an unmanifested state. When creation happens, the unmanifested state becomes manifested state. Once again, when dissolution happens, it once again goes back. The manifested state goes back to an unmanifested state. The forms and names keep changing all the time from manifested state to unmanifested state. He says both of these, the cause and the effect, are Bhagavan, because he is there he is the cause and he is there in the effect. And this entire universe, all the sentient and insentient beings, all are his body, his divine body. This is what Arjuna in the Gita, when Krishna reveals his Vishwarupa, Arjuna looks at the Vishwarupa and says, Pashyami devam stava deva dehe sarvam stata deva vishesha shangan brahmanamisham kamalasanastam rishimscha sarvan uragamscha divyan aneka bahudara vaktranetram pashyami tvam sarvato nantarupam nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishweshwara Vishwarupa. Hey Vishwarupa, now I see the reality. Now I see that you are the cause and you are also inseparable from the effect. The cause is very much present in the effect. The effect is the body of the effect. Effect is the body of the cause. The cause is very much present in the effect. And the Vishwarupa is nothing but the divine body. The entire universe is Bhagavan's body. And here he says, therefore, if this is Satya, may I be protected. Why? Because he is everywhere. And therefore, I do not need to be in fear, because he is there protecting me all the time, everywhere, from all directions. Yataikatmyanubhavanam vikalparahita swayam bhushanayuda lingakhya dhatte shakti swamayaya. Now, he is talking about why we should worship Bhagavan's Divyaayudhas, Bhagavan's divine ornaments. What is the power of his divine names? Now, here he is giving the reason for that. Tenaiva satyamanena sarvajnaha bhagavan harihi patu sarvaihi swarupairnaha sada sarvatra sarvaga. He is now talking about Bhagavan's not only omnipotence, his omnipresence. Bhagavan is omnipresent everywhere and he manifests in different ways. Now, the reality is that Bhagavan is complete in himself. He is complete. His forms, each and every form of Bhagavan is also complete. When he takes a form, we may think that form has limitations. Because the moment we say form, a form with our material mind, we ascribe limitation to a form. When we see the form of a deity, it seems as though that form is limited, because our material mind always associates a form with limitation. But Bhagavan's form is not limited. He has a form and he can remain unlimited at the same time. This is the unique nature. He is complete by himself. Each and every form is complete. He is complete by nature, and each of his forms are complete. And he is auspicious, blemishless. Every form of his is auspicious and blemishless. That is why Krishna, he says, hey Arjuna, people think that I have taken a human-like form and they think I am just another human without realizing that I am the Lord of all. No, it takes time for people to realize and come to terms that form and formlessness, limitlessness and limitations. Bhagavan transcends all of this. His omnipotence and omnipresence and omniscience transcend the limitations of our mind, and therefore he manifests not only in various forms. Each of his divine ayudhas are his manifestations. The ayudhas of Bhagavan are not products of matter. We may look at Sudarshana Chakra, we may look at Panchajanya, the conch, or we may look at his Kaumodaki. They may seem made of matter, but they are all aprakrita. They are all manifestations of Bhagavan, partial manifestations of Bhagavan, and therefore Vishwarupa here is instructing to Indra that just like how we pray to Bhagavan, we also need to pray to each of these Divyaayudhas. Just like how we pray to Bhagavan, we also can pray to his Nama, because Nama and Bhagavan are non-different. The holy name and the Lord are non-different. They are one and the same. Only in the material sense, in the material realm, the name is different from the form. In the material realm, the name may not fully represent the reality that it seeks to represent. When I recite the word water multiple times, I do not get, my thirst will not be quenched. That's not going to happen. I can recite water 1,000 times, but my thirst will not be quenched. This is in the material realm. But Bhagavan's name is very different. In the spiritual realm, the namas, the sounds are not material or divine. Bhagavan's name, when I chant Bhagavan's nama, it quenches my thirst. The thirst to connect with him, the thirst to experience him. The chanting of Bhagavan's namas enables us to experience him. Why? Because Bhagavan's nama is non-different from Bhagavan. When I chant the nama Krishna, Krishna manifests then and there. The nama starts to dance on my tongue, within my mouth. And the moment the nama stands to dance, I start to experience the nectar and I start to seek multiple mouths to chant the nama. The more I chant and I start to listen to those divine namas, I start to long for multiple years to listen to the nama. And when the nama stands to dance in the courtyard of my heart, the mind gets captivated totally. This is the power of Bhagavan's nama, which is not different from Bhagavan. So therefore here, Vishwarupa is saying that we need to seek protection. We can seek protection through Bhagavan's namas. We can seek protection through Bhagavan's Divyaayudhas. We can seek protection through his divyabhushanas. We can pray to them. They are manifestations of Bhagavan and they are meant to be protective shields to us. Teneva satyamanena sarvajnaha Bhagavan harihi patu sarvaihi swarupairnaha sada sarvatra sarvagaha. Bhagavan sarvatra sarvagaha. He pervades the entire creation. Everywhere he is there. Now when we start realizing this, the bhakti in us starts to blossom and grow. How can this happen? Devotion advances in multiple stages. And this is why Bhagavan presents, reveals in multiple ways. Not only reveals with various forms, he reveals his various divine ornaments and divine names and divine weapons. When we start to chant Bhagavan's namas, when we start to relish his divine ayudhas, Bhagavan starts to slowly permeate and enter our minds. Just like how the rainwater from the clouds slowly and gently starts to permeate the earth through the top soil. Similarly, through the senses, Bhagavan enters. The same senses which are the doorways for everything unwanted can also be the gateways for Bhagavan to enter us. His namas enter us through our senses. The divine ayudhas, the divine abhushanas also enter through the senses. Just like how the rainwater enters the earth through the top soil, Bhagavan enters, he permeates. So the first stage is permeation. Now, when he starts to enter, he starts to permeate, Bhagavan's divine presence within us starts to grow. Another beauty here is, taking the same analogy, the water from the clouds are causeless, irrespective. The fields don't really demand the water. Every part of the field is watered without any discrimination. Similarly, Bhagavan reveals himself to us, to all of us, without any discrimination. Therefore, he enters each and every one of us. And then after he enters us, what do we do may vary. Now, the same waters that pours down from the clouds gently enters the earth. This is the first step, the step of permeation. The second is the step of pervasion. Now, when the rainwaters enters the earth, there are several things within the earth. Similarly, in our heart, there are several attachments. Bhagavan enters our heart. He is there. He is present. He is one amongst several other attachments that we have in our heart. But then, the beauty of Bhagavan's nama, the beauty of Bhagavan's form, the moment it enters our heart, it starts to pervade. It starts to slowly pervade. When this pervasion starts to happen, we start to slowly get consumed by him. This is the second blissful process of pervasion. The permeation leading to pervasion. Then the third stage is the advanced stage of the development of bhakti in us. Bhagavan's namas, Bhagavan's divine form has permeated, pervaded within, and slowly and steadily, with some effort from our side, the third process of possession happens. He starts to possess us from within. We become possessed by Bhagavan. Until then, we are all possessed by the world. We think we possess the world. We think we possess things. We think we are the owners of the material property that we have. In reality, we are not the possessors, we are the possessed. The world possesses us. What we think we own, that thing possesses us. Our house possesses us. We don't possess it. Our vehicles possess us. Our property possesses us. Only when we become possessed by Bhagavan, that is the advanced stage of bhakti. From permeation to pervasion to possession. And this is a blissful process. And this is the reason why Bhagavan reveals himself to us in various ways. His glorious form easily captivates us. His names, divine names, easily captivate. And as we keep chanting his names, all of us experience this almost on a daily basis. We all start the process of chanting his divine names almost mechanically, which is fine. Even if we do mechanical chanting, it is still better than not chanting. So therefore, the first stage is a mechanical state, where we are chanting his names mechanically and we are letting his forms enter us mechanically. That's a state number one, mechanical state. Then this slowly and steadily progresses into the second state. From mechanical state, we get to an attentive state, where as we chant his namas, we pass a very important test. This is a very important test in life that we need to pass. There are several tests we all take, in our academic, as we, go through school and college and so on, we take several tests. Even life is a series of tests, but there is one very important test, the test of taste. Taste for Bhagavan. We need to win this test. Now, until we start developing the taste, because the Purva Janma Vasanas are so very strong that our taste is very, very weak when it comes to Bhagavan, and we are always longing for tasting the world of matter. The moment we cross this threshold, this test of taste, once we start relishing Bhagavan, relishing the taste of Krishna, then the most important test in life is passed. And when that we pass, we move on from that attentive state to an enchanted state. That's the third state. Now we are in an enchanted state where we start experiencing Krishna. When we chant his name, we are not only chanting Krishna's name, we are also experiencing Krishna's gunas. We feel his presence within us and with us, and that is when we start to experience the bliss of oneness with Krishna. That's a state of enchantment. From a mechanical state to an attentive state to an enchanted state, and eventually to a possessed state, where we are possessed by Krishna, where we cannot stay separated from him, and that is where we realize that there is already a protective shield all around us. Until that state, we are seeking protection. When we reach that state, we realize that we are already safe and secure. There is a shield all around us. Until that state, we are asking, we are insecure, we are asking for protection. But then we realize that when he is there with us, he is our very shield. And that is in that state, we stop asking, we only experience that blissful state, which is the most secure state we can ever be. And that is exactly what here Vishwarupa is saying. Once we realize, Sada Sarvatra Sarvagaha, he is Sarvatra Sarvagaha, his pervasion is to be with us all the time, and that recognition is the most important realization in our life and living. Therefore, having spoken about how the power of Nama and the various forms, now here Vishwarupa is giving an example of how the Nama of Bhagavan Nama brings Bhagavan rushing. Where else can we see this but other than in Prahlada Charitra? Here Vishwarupa is saying, Vidikshu Dikshudhvam Adasamantad Antarbahib Bhagavan Nrasimha Prahapayalloka Bhayam Svanena Swatejasagrasta Samasta Tejah Swatejasagrasta Samasta Tejah. The sheer sheet of effulgence of Bhagavan Nrasimha, may he protect me. Antarbahir Bhagavan. He is inside me, he is outside me, he is giving me protection from within, he is giving me protection from outside. This is exactly what Prahlada teaches all the Daityas, the students in the Daitya Gurukula. Asara samsara vivartaneshu maya tatosham prasavam bhavimi sarvatra daityaha samatavupetya samatvam aradhyam achyutasya. Samatva, the equanimity of the mind. The mind can become equanimous only when we constantly worship Achyuta. Constantly worshipping Achyuta is the only way to stay equanimous. And therefore, Vishwarupa invokes Prahlada Charitra and invokes Nrasimha and says how by invoking the Nrasimha Nama alone is enough. Nrsimha, we may not be as blessed as Prahlada. Prahlada can call Narayana and Narayana can come rushing to him. It may not happen to us, but we may not be able to see him with our physical eyes, but we should be assured that when we call out, he is there responding to us, reciprocating and ensuring that we stay protected. Therefore, he says there should be no fear whatsoever, because Nrsimha from within and from without is our protective shield. Vidikshu dikshudham adassamantad antarbahir Bhagavan Nrsimha. Then the last concluding shloka of Narayana Kavacham, Vishwarupa looks at Indra and says, Bhagavan idam akyatam varma narayanatmakam vijeshyase anjasayena damshito asurayutapar. Now, in the case of Indra, his biggest pain point here now that his loss of his kingdom to the asuras. So, damshito asurayutapan. You will be protected here, Indra, by chanting this Narayana Kavacha. You will be protected. You will become victorious. Vijeshyase. You will conquer. Why? Because now you have the protective shield. The Narayana Kavacha is there protecting you. You will conquer. Anjasayena. Very easily. Anjasa. Very easily, effortlessly. Why? Now, we have given the delegation to Narayana. He is there to take care of protection. We only need to focus on our prayers to him. The task of protecting us is taken by himself. So therefore, Vijeshyase Anjasaye. Hey Bhagavan, hey Indra, O King Indra, idam akyatam. Whatever I have described to you in these 24 shlokas of Narayana Kavacha, Varma, Narayanatmakam. Narayana himself has become this mystic armor, this mystic shield. By chanting this Narayana Kavacha, you invoke the shield. The shield is already there. We are invoking, we are acknowledging the presence of the shield, and we are taking advantage of the presence of the shield with us. Yetat dharayamanastu yam yam pashyati chakshusha padava samsprishet sadyah sadvasat sa vimuchyate. Very beautifully Vishwarupa concludes. He says, the one who employs this Narayana Kavacha, the one who is wearing this Kavacha, if that person is now, he's not talking about us chanting the Narayana Kavacha and invoking the Kavacha. If a Mahatma, if a great Bhakta who chants Narayana Kavacha and wears the shield, he employs the shield, if that person sees us, if that person touches us, if that person's divine feet happens to touch us, that is enough, he says. The divine association of that person is enough for us to be freed from all kinds of dangers, all kinds of adversities. And he says that such is the power, such is the potency of Narayana Kavacha. Now, we all are constantly seeking protection, constantly seeking security. Every day, we are constantly thinking about how we can be secure forever. No, eternal security is our primary goal. No, we are constantly chasing. But unfortunately, our consciousness is caught at the material level. And we are seeking, therefore, pleasure and purpose in the material things. When we do that, since the world of matter is ever changing, therefore, we can never find eternal security in the world of matter. Leave alone eternal pleasure. We cannot find eternal purpose being fulfilled here. And we continue to chase security all the time. Therefore, the search for security, which is our search, if life is a search for security, we can basically conclude by saying this search for security is ultimately the search for Krishna, ultimately the search for spirituality. Many times we may wonder why we need to be on the spiritual path. People may think spirituality is to be dealt with in due course of time in life. But if we really reflect, Spirituality, for spirituality is essentially a reflection of our search for security. The only problem is we are searching for security in the wrong place. Our search for eternal security is actually the search for our true identity, for our true spirituality, for search for our Krishna. And it is this search that will enable us to realize that only when we find this eternal security, this search for security will come to an end. If we do not discover this, we continue to be in the cycle of samsara, constantly seeking security, which is like a shifting goalpost. We may think we will use in this life, our able body, our muscles, our talents, both physical and mental and intellectual. We may think we will use our prized possessions, material things, wealth, relationships, all of this to be the source of our security, but we get frustrated, we get disappointed when we realize that none of this, not our muscles, not even our talents, not our mental and intellectual capabilities, not our relationships, not the property that we think we own, none of these can be sources for our security. The moment we start to discover that the real source of security is our Krishna, that is when we are on the path of attaining permanent, eternal, blissful state of security. And Narayana Kavacham is that protective shield which shows us this direction, which takes us on this path towards the ultimate goal of blissful, eternal security. At the same time, we have to lead our life and living. We have to be, as long as we are alive, we are in this material world, and we need a protective shield amidst all the activities that we do. When we engage all our senses, our mind, our intellect and the body with this world, we need this protective shield with us. And therefore, through Narayana Kavacham, we are protected throughout the journey, eventually to reach the destination. A protected journey and eternally protected destination, both are assured through the Narayana Kavacham. Let us express our gratitude to Vishwarupa, son of Tvashta, who in the pretext of instructing Indra has actually bestowed a great tool, the most supremely potent tool, a Kavacha for all of us. And may we express our gratitude to Shukha, to Vyasa, who have faithfully recorded this and passed on, and all our acharyas who have passed on this treasure to us, so that we can relish not only the significance of the Kavacha, also relish the practical ways of applying it in our day-to-day life and living. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.